body skills and their tonal skills and and very importantly, their eyes and their ears.
Yes.
Rather let them do those things first. Then we can present them with all the formal learning, sitting at a desk and doing what they need to do.
Because I actually don't know if we know the full effects of what screens do. I know that in one other chat that I had, somebody was mentioning that because phones and computers have a light source behind,
Yes.
if we continuously expose our children to that, they can't read until there's a light source behind. So,
oh my goodness.
So we actually might be, I can't say we are because I'm not testing, but we might actually be changing the way the eye works.
Yes, yes.
And would we not be robbing somebody of enjoying nature or
Absolutely.
colour in the right way?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, simple things like climbing. It's way more important for your children to be climbing than to be looking at a screen and playing a game, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah. Now, I know some people, they say playing is so important, but then once again, what kind of play are we referring to? We are not referring to playing a computer game.
No. So it is outdoor play, the physical, the big gross motor skills, and also there's some wonderful board games and that kind of play that children, and very much for dexterity, which I've been speaking about so much, are all the wonderful construction games, all those different, from Lego to all those wonderful sticks that fit together and all those wonderful construction games. Those are important for kids' development. So that's the kind of play we're referring to, not screen time.
So now, if we have a parent that's saying, "Oh, I get what you're saying," how do I get my child off that screen? Because now they're already used to the screen. How to get them off the screen and start playing with them?
So maybe what popped in my mind is, who's the parent, who's the child? So in a gentle way, you say, okay, in our house, these are the tech rules, okay? Allowed to use our computers or our phones for so long a day, as long as we've done all the other things, then you can have some screen time. So you start limiting the screen time. Do it in a gentle way and introduce them to other wonderful activities. There are so many of those around. There are many, many different companies and many, many different ideas to tap into for kids to belong to groups, to do movement and exercise and fun games with balls, etc., ball play. And then there's just let your kid go outside, play in the mud, and experience what it's like to use your imagination with what's out there in nature.
And build up from there.
Yes.
Another thing that I saw in the one homeschooling group, I found was very interesting, and I haven't heard about them before.
Yes.
But they open on a Saturday, as far as I don't know about during the week, but they open on a Saturday. They've got like 500 different board games.
Goodness.
You pay, I think it's between 50 or 100 Rand, I'm not quite sure on the price, for you to come in per person, and you can play board games.
Lovely.
A whole day.
That's wonderful.
I thought that was such a nice thing because you can invite your friends and go.
It sounds amazing. I haven't heard of that, but it sounds amazing. And there you go. There's one particular idea.
Yeah, and there can be more places that could do this. Like I think even 100%. Schools can do that.
I think also one thing we haven't spoken about, the activities that are so beneficial for kids is dance. And there's many, many kinds of dance that they can be involved in. From hip-hop to ballet to modern to Spanish. Not so much Spanish anymore, but
there's
that's really good for them, yes.
Because you're going to be working that fine motor
and the co-ordination,
yes.
Absolutely. And kids do love to move to music, don't they?
They do.
Playing an instrument. How awesome is it to play an instrument? So when do children have time to do that?
It's a bit
Yes.
of a...
So that is something also to think about and to encourage. To play the recorder. So I'm using my fingers.
Playing the piano.
Playing
Even
piano.
everything. Guitar.
Guitar, absolutely. Drums.
Drums.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a lady the other day that plays drums. I take my hat off to her. She's excellent.
Yes.
So you always mostly see guys.
Yes.
And in this case, it was a lady that played it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't limit people.
No,
it's what their passion
it's
is.
It's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful that she's
working.
doing that. Yes.
So, what have you seen with teachers once they've gone through your training? What do you see? How it benefits them? Have you gotten some feedback? You're talking about places like Mexico, Malaysia, I think you said.
Yes.
Are they coming back with feedback? Because that's exciting.
So that would be wonderful if I constantly got feedback. But all I can tell you is, as soon as they've been through a workshop, they say, this is wonderful. I've got so many ideas to take back to my classroom on Monday. That is just so amazing. So it just gives teachers more ideas. And yes, hopefully they are all using some of it in the classroom, because many of the teachers arrive and they're very tired and very stressed and with large groups. And the goal is to show teachers, and parents for that matter, that you don't have to spend a long time doing movements in order to have changes in your class happening in the class. And you also don't have to have huge spaces to do this. You have to work within the spaces that you have. So that was part of the intention of doing the hands-on program, was to show there are small things you can do before each skill that you teach that will help kids to be better at that particular skill. And I always encourage my older kids. I've taught them, you're going to write very stressful exams. I know you're stressed, but these are the things that we're going to do before. And these are the things you can stop in the middle of the exam and do when you're feeling your hand is cramping, or when you feel like your ideas have
dried up.
Dried up, absolutely. So we give them tools to do. And I'm always very gratified when they come back and say, I stopped, I did the alphabet 8s, wow, I carried on. So it's great when that happens, constant feedback.
I had one student that her mom would send her for a session with me.
Yes.
And then she'll end up doing alphabet 8s. And every time she got alphabet 8, she'd say, oh no, not again.
Right.
But the thing is, it assisted her to express herself.
Absolutely.
So it's so valuable, these little things.
These little things. So, not many people understand the absolute perfection of those 26 movements that Dr. Dennison and his wife Gail have given the world, because each one is profoundly changing on the child. Profoundly. It has such a wonderful effect and helps them really to do better. So movements can be tiny and movements can be very large. And so it's movement, and more movement.